Hi, I'm Bart Hanson, the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description.
Borgata, this is 510, 2K effective,
Okay.
and stay with your current theme of small sizing.
Okay.
I open middle position to 35 with ace of hearts, eight of hearts.
Okay.
Both the button and the big blind call. Both players are 5-10, somewhat regs, moderate winners,
Okay.
not overly aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
110 in the middle. The flop comes out king of hearts, 8, 5, rainbow.
King of Hearts, 8x, 5x, right?
Right.
Okay.
Big blind checks.
Okay.
I thought this was dry enough to use a small sizing on it, so I bet 40.
Okay. One thing that I would say is that you would probably want to bet this hand a little bit more than, say, like pocket queens, right? Because it needs more protection. The higher up that pair is in between 8 and king, the more you want to bet it for protection. Nines, ace 8, that's all fine. So you bet 40. You can even go a little bit smaller here, too. I mean, the pot's 105. You could even get away with going 35. But okay, you bet 40.
Okay. Button folds and the big blind calls.
Okay. And
190 in the middle.
All right.
Turn is a 10 of hearts.
Okay.
Now I got backdoor flush draw.
Mm-hmm.
Big blind checks.
Okay.
And I bet 90. So first question is, what do you think about that sizing?
Well, here's the thing. So, I mean, obviously, when you bet on the flop, you're betting for value and protection. So,
Right.
When this guy calls you basically last act, obviously he's less strong than the button would be in this particular scenario. So you turn the backdoor flush draw, and what do you think he called you with on the flop?
There could be a weak king.
Okay.
There's a couple eights left in the deck. 5.
Sure.
Any pocket pair between 5s and 10s, let's say. I think 10s and above, I probably would have heard from him pre-flop.
Well, I mean, my thinking here is that unless you're going to go for 3 barrels to try to get somebody off of a king, like as a 3-barrel bluff, I think at this point when you use that small sizing on the flop to get called by weaker, probably now I would check back the turn a fair amount because I don't think a king is going to fold. It's not going to fold to 2 bets. So, like I said, unless your plan is to run, if the river's a brick and you're going to run a big bet on the river to try to get this guy off a king X, I do think that this is a pretty decent spot to check. One of the other things too is that your hand can obviously improve to the nut flush, and it doesn't really need that protection issue anymore because you've got the hearts now too. So it's pretty difficult for somebody to improve if you had beaten them now because you also have hearts too that you can catch on the turn. So I probably would check this back. Like I said, was your plan to 3-barrel this hand?
Well, I'm in position, so I could take a showdown if he checks the river as well.
Right. But I mean, here's the thing, though.
How the board runs out.
But I mean, if let's say the river's a deuce, right, and he checks
Right.
again, and you just decide to take a showdown, I'm not super thrilled with that line just because what are you getting called by on the turn? Do you think he's calling you a 7-8 again on the turn?
Yeah, not likely, right?
Yeah. So again, I mean, if I bet the turn here, I might. It would be 2 lines. If I was going to 3-barrel this hand to try to get somebody off a weak king, I would bet larger on the turn and follow up with a larger bet at the end, or I would check. I think the in-between sizing is a little bit awkward on the turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Big blind
So
calls?
Fortunately, I bet 90, he calls.
Okay.
River then is a offsuit ace.
Okay, so it's an offsuit ace. Okay.
All right. And now the villain donks 140.
So he bets 140 into, what, 370?
Yes, exactly.
So villain donks 140.
And
Wow,
this
this
is my
is,
big question on the hand.
I mean, this is sort of interesting because I think that you think that he would three bet ace king a fair amount, right? Pre-flop
Yes.
as a
Yeah.
squeeze. You block, obviously, pocket eights. Um, and I mean, it's possible too. Also, the other thing too is that if he's got a set of eights and a set of fives, usually I would say, so there's one combo of pocket eights, right? And three combos of pocket fives because you have one of the eights in your hand. So if he arrives on the, so when you look at the whole hand, like how often of the four combos, what percentage of those four combos of sets is he taking this line with? Check call, donk lead on river ace. You
But
know,
my bet sizing was small to keep his range wide, but
yeah,
I also kept my range very wide in his eyes too, right?
yeah. I don't know if I see like if a guy is gonna slow play a set the whole way because he thinks you're barreling, he might even check the river to check raise you. To try to get value from Ace King. I got to be honest with you. I don't see this line much with the set. Definitely less than 25% of the time. So, if it's just like one combo of sets here or less, and you have Ace Eight. I mean, I guess it's possible because your sizing on the flop was small that he could have, say, check called you with Queen Jack on the flop with a backdoor flush draw. You know what I mean? And then he turns open ended, and then he makes Queen Jack at the end. I still feel like that's a decent hand to check raise river if you're a thin value better. So we throw out Ace King. It's unlikely that he has a set here. Would he call with Ace 10? I'm trying to think, like, I want to raise this river a fair amount for value, but now that I think of it with this, he's betting 140 and a 370. I mean, you could click it up here. He could never raise you back. I'm trying to think of the hands like King 10 just check calls. I'm looking at the board. King 10 just check calls turn. Ace, he could have Ace 10 with a backdoor, which you lose to. Ace 5 is unlikely because it doesn't call turn. I guess I would probably just call here now that I think of it. He's probably going to have a hand that's not going to call a raise at the end, or he has you beat occasionally. So I'm thinking I would probably just call because you lose to most of the aces up here, and there's a possibility you can have Queen 10 and Queen Jack in some sort of weird slow played hand. Obviously, he could have missed with like 6-7 here too, which is not going to call a river raise. So
Right. That's kind of I tanked for quite a while trying to find a raise in my arsenal, and I couldn't find it.
uh-huh.
My thoughts were that any hand that he's trying to block bet on, which this looked like, he's not calling a raise.
Mm-hmm.
And his monsters, of course, that I'm losing to.
Right.
So I ended up just checking back and
You
I
calling.
was good.
Calling.
Calling. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
He showed where did he show 8-9.
Okay, so he just had a bluff, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I think that he's going to end up with a weird bluff here, or you're beat probably. So when you look at the raise, right, in order for you to raise, you have to get called and be good more than 50% of the time. I just don't see that. Obviously here, when he bets 140 and a 370, you only need to be good. What is that? You're getting 3.5 to 1. You only need to be good, 22% of the time. That's an easy call, but I don't know if, even if you do have the best hand more than 50% of the time, again, it's a situation where he has to call a raise too. So I actually do like your call here. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA100. Click on the link right there.